Hi, so I was asked to pull cards on the eclipse, the blood moon, and so I'm pulling cards. I also wrote some things down. I first pulled the Hermit, and at the bottom of the deck was the Knight of Wands. The Chariot was behind that, and the Two of Pentacles, and the Eight of Cups. Now, this full moon, new moon eclipse it's a total lunar eclipse where the earth moves directly between the sun and the moon, casting a shadow on the moon. The moon is representative of the intuition, right? So something is blocking, when we think about this, the earth is like the tangible, right? The 3D. It's moving in front of our moon, which is our intuition, our feminine. So we're no longer looking at things from a standpoint of intuition and feminine, which I see as nurturing. So like when you look at the war stuff going on, in the past we've been kind of catering to Iran and the way of like giving them money and giving them what they want, as far as Biden administration, the Obama administration. Now Trump is not catering like they were used to. So for the last 12 years or something. So we're seeing that play out. Also the blood moon is represented by the red. So that's the root chakra. So like tangible items, like the grounding. The blue is represented by the throat chakra. So no more talk, maybe. Talking is kind of out of the picture now. I did hear this morning there's been strikes and things happening. So action is being taken. This moon asks that we come into authority over our lives in areas of habits, health, and reactions. So that's significant. And integrate the shadow, where we face our flaws, fears, and messy emotions to become our own masters of self. Use the Virgo moon, using the Virgo's analytical mind to work with the shadows and to improve. Now, I don't know how this is going to improve things, but I am, knowing that there's needing to be an improvement here, but whether that happens with bombing and things like that I don't see that happening like that, but I see it getting worse before it gets better. But there's a need, like the energy is calling for us to improve in some way. The Sabian symbol for Virgo at 13 degrees is powerful statesman. A strong man reveals himself as the master of his own shadow. Whether we're dealing with strong men or weak men, that is the question. So there's a need. That's what it's calling for us to do, is to master our shadow, right? And become our own inner internal authority, in some way. This moon asks that we come into authority, and then self-improve. With the sun being in the opposite sign at Pisces at 13 degrees, the symbol represents a sword in a museum. So there seems to be an old power that is now retired. So an old way of being no longer is useful. And the master of the shadow is now stepping into the limelight. So the message is to stop romanticizing old battles or truths from the past and focus on the real practical power in the present. So it's being practical and not wielding our sword. So I think we're kind of not doing that. So, but what's happening in the world right now, it may be a lesson in this, and that's why this is coming up. It's very karmic. I'm getting so we should be editing our everyday habits, letting go of the inner critic, going from chaos to order, and there may be a change of pace, like close chapters that drain. So I don't know if that's like the ultimate reason for it. But there's something about the Hermit card here and the Knight of Wands. There may be some impulsive action that needs to be brought into, like, there needs to be wisdom, right? Mutable signs are going to feel it most intensely this moon. Mutable signs are Sag, Gemini, I want to say Virgo and Pisces, but yeah, Virgo and Pisces. Earth signs, oh wait, okay. So they're going to be, the mutable signs are going to be feeling it most intensely. A fateful shift and major turning point is what we're coming to for the mutable signs. And then the earth signs, a creative breakthrough or a positive shift socially, maybe coming up. Fire and air signs, sudden changes in work, health, and daily habits. This eclipse also falls on the Hindu festival of colors, Holi. The triumph of good and evil, or good versus evil. And then it's also indicating the burning away of the old and releasing the past. So in some ways those are significant points. Let's see what else we can pull out here. So the Chariot and the Knight of Wands tell me that there's forward movement. There may be some imbalance here, and a need for balance to be brought back. There may be a need to walk away from a situation. Otherwise, stress and conflict and chaos are in order here. The Hierophant is behind that. So there is a need for wisdom for sure. Now, I don't know that our leaders are going to have wisdom, but let's see what's happening. What's showing up? The Wheel of Fortune. So this may be a fated event. Okay. It's very karmic, like I said. The Empress is here. So now I'm getting that there's a need for us to come back into balance with our feminine side of this and nurturing, like it's putting a ship out, our biggest, best ship or whatever, out in the middle of the firing squad. It doesn't seem that that's very wise, or that it's very, mind over matter type of reaction, So there may be some need for us to reassess and reevaluate maybe that's the strategy there, is to be vulnerable in a way and allow the attacks to come. But it's a big risk, So we also have the Ten of Cups behind the Empress, and the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles. So there's a need to reevaluate compassion here. And value. The Three of Cups is behind that. So there may be, and also, then the need for us to see the group, because there's not only Iran, it's Russia, China, all of the things. So, the Ten of Cups being here, there may be a need to focus on what fulfills instead of, war, right? There's also a need to focus on liberating self, or liberating like our families, because it is a cycle here. Like there's this, the wheel does turn. So whatever we put out comes back. So that's what we need to, maybe focus on. What do we want to come back to us, This is, the Star is behind the Queen of Pentacles, so definitely it's about finding the light in the dark. Now, whether this has to do with self or as a whole, like the whole world, that's open to interpretation. But let me see. Queen of Swords, Queen of Pentacles. So, are we valuing like discernment, the wisdom in all of this? Because that seems to be very important. What's surfacing? So we have the Six of Pentacles, the Six of Swords, and the Seven of Wands. So there's a need for reciprocity and moving away to, and the Six of Swords being here is like move your ship. And the Seven of Wands, defend the ship. So I know we do have like air, a lot of air, probably better air war stuff, than the Navy, right? But I don't know. The Page of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles, the Lovers. So it's something about choices and mastering the lesson, right, of defense. That could be, okay, maybe that's why he put it there. You know, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking. And I'm talking about the ship, you know, in the middle of the way. But I was hearing that it was like for bait, right? But that's a pretty big bait. And is it worth it? I don't know. Anyway, so what do we need to expand on? Okay. The Three of Pentacles. So, excuse me, what's needed is collaboration in some way with, I don't know if the, so it says the Sun, the Four of Cups, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Page of Cups. I'm getting that it's illuminating the illumination of the collaboration in some way, and then also a reevaluation of what we're reaping. You know, we reap what we sow, is the Seven of Pentacles. So is it worth it? We need to illuminate, like, is it really worth it? Do we really want a collaboration? Or I think this is also saying, you know, because I'm saying this is Israel, Page of Cups, like that's who we like are defending in some way. The tiny country that kind of causes all this trouble, right? Maybe we need to reevaluate our efforts towards collaboration with Israel. You know, and is it really worth it? What actions do we need to take? Nine of Wands, defend. So, and defend the Fool. I mean, okay. So this, maybe so the Knight of Wands is a wounded warrior. The Fool is like the pilgrim, the new journey, like something like taking a risk. And I'm also seeing, you know, the Wheel of Fortune here. So there may be a change needed in who we defend. I mean, Ace of Cups, new beginning. Six of Wands, Nine of Swords. So this is saying take a risk towards the new. Take a risk towards love in some way, or self-love, right? Yeah, I mean, so this is a lesson that I've had to learn myself. Do I defend to the end someone that I care about who may or may not be acting in my best interest, right? Or do I reevaluate the situation and move towards risking that relationship and going towards a new beginning where it's more self-love based, where I'm not defending out of habit something that isn't in my best interest, right? The risk is to go out on your own, to not maybe collaborate. So there was a reevaluation of the collaboration, right? And then the action is to take a risk and defend yourself in this. Yeah, you have people to protect here, whereas these people are warmongers and they're going and fighting everybody because they know that we would defend them. I mean, is it making sense? Make it make sense. So that's the change here. The risk that we take, and maybe a fated new beginning into not defending, and facing the demon. So, oh goodness. Okay, so what this is saying is it's revealing the shadow to the master, right? A strong man reveals himself as the master of his own shadow. The own shadow would be looking at Israel in the way, of we don't need to defend you. I mean, that's the way I'm seeing this. That's when we get the victory. The self-love is the victory. The taking a risk to move from the stress of defending 9-9 as well. So that's endings. Ending this collaboration. And that's the wisdom to find balance and move on. And peace, right? I mean, yeah, maybe Iran has it out for the US, has it out, but they're, I think, seeing the need to defend themselves against Israel because Israel's kind of acting like a war monger. What resources do we have? Three of Wands. So foresight. Expecting our ships to sail in. Like, that is literally the meaning of this card. So, and the Five of Wands. So, okay. The Hierophant. Judgment. Ten of Cups. Again. So, the way I'm seeing this is like, yes, we could fight, but that would be the old way, and we're awakening from that to move on to happier times, right? So, like, where we're fulfilled and we're not needing this war, This is old systems, traditions, ways of being that we're in conflict with, right? And there's a need for an awakening, judgment. There's a need for an awakening. And that's probably what's going to happen here, because something's going to happen. Let's clarify. There's definitely balance that's needed and a reciprocity. So Charity. So is this saying that we need to give charity? I mean, we'll clarify. Let's clarify that one first. To move on. Like, do we need to pay these people to kind of move on from this? Or is that out of the question because we kind of know? It says Knight of Cups. 7 of Pentacles. Knight of Cups. Intuitively knowing where to go, what to do. And see, he's on a ship in this picture. So saving the lives of the sailors that are on that ship. Because you reap what you sow. The Chariot, the World, 10 of Pentacles. Let me see. Now, so, okay. I see what this is kind of saying. You know how, like, we baited. So we're baiting, basically, by putting our ships there. If they hit us, yes, people are going to lose their lives, right? The sailors, the people that are on the ship could possibly lose their lives. We reap what we sow in that. But there's a determination to move forward in some way. And that's a legacy, but it's also a cycle that's closing. So this could be that there is a need for some sort of action, right? The 7 of Pentacles. But that we also need to value lives, right? The Knight of Cups. Clarify the Hierophant. Clarify the Hermit. So this is what's surfacing here. You know, so Judgment, 4 of Pentacles, clarifying the Hermit. So wisdom, needing to hold on to what we have and awaken to a deeper, you know, new ideas, you know, a deeper understanding of like stability and like what we actually need. Like there's no lack, right? So we have 2 aces here. The Ace of Wands, Ace of Swords, the Lovers. This is about choices. The Lovers is about choices. There's new ideas, a truth and clarity about choices and betrayal. And what's behind that? 3 of Cups. Betrayals by maybe our friends. So who's our friends? Israel. I mean, so I believe that everything happens for a reason, and there may be a need for us to mess up, maybe to awaken. Unfortunately. Clarify the Wheel of Fortune. That's why wisdom is needed. And there's a need to also protect ourselves and our people. Clarify the Wheel of Fortune. The Sun. So there's expansion, being illuminated. It's a heavy burden, maybe too. Yeah, the King of Cups. Again with the ship and the Hermit and the Page of Cups, the Innocent. protecting the innocent, being emotionally mature and wise, and setting these burdens down. It's not about the old ways anymore. It's something about moving past, these political differences and the pride and ego that, at whatever cost, type of mentality, like where we're just, doing things to showboat and make our egos, run the show. Clarify the Three of Pentacles. The Hermit. So again, with the Hermit, man. So in strength, it's about overcoming. So wisdom, overcoming this temptation to maybe, it's about taming the beast, right? The Strength card. We have the Two of Cups, the King of Swords. So it's a mind over matter. It's about the union of, so it's also about some sort of, what is the word? Collaboration, right? That there's an agreement we made with Israel to protect them, but we need to evaluate the intelligence of it and the wisdom of it. Four of Cups, reevaluation. Overcoming the temptation to start a war and being wise instead, and awakening, protecting self. There is a need for self-preservation. Clarify the Nine of Wands. Because is it worth it to start a war, a world war, or over one tiny little country? Seems like a big hassle. King of Swords, Nine of Wands is what we're clarifying. Being smart. It's about mind over matter. Nine of Swords, 9 again. Eight of Pentacles, Queen of Swords. So we got the King and the Queen of Swords and the Wise One, which is the Hierophant. So old systems. Like we need to reevaluate the old systems. Like what are we working towards? We need self-mastery over the mind and compassion in some way to liberate us from this trap of being the wounded warrior, because there is going to be, casualties. Clarify the Three of Wands. The Devil. It's like expected. So, and I also see this as, taming the shadow. Taming the shadow. The toxic, like the Six of Cups. It's like the past. So, yeah, in the past we've always catered to Israel. And maybe it's time to move on from that and stop. Maybe that's who we need to walk away from. I'm seeing the Eight of Cups, King of Wands. Take action towards walking away. And we have the Seven of Swords, which is like deceitful energy. Lies. Conniving energy. There's, something in regards to that. So the Three of Wands and the Seven of Swords, to me, is seeing through the lies. Do we need to do this? You know, is this the action that we need to take, or is there some other action that we could take that could avoid a lot of this? I don't know. So let me also see, because otherwise there's going to be major conflicts here. And I'm seeing this as like we could walk away and avoid war, or we could relive the past. Let's get Oracle messages. So we have the moon coming up. You and your loved ones are safe. New moon in Cancer, and hold your vision, fixed moon. Take time to breathe out, disseminating moon. So this is like clear the mind of fear, of worry, of doubt, of lack of clarity, things like that. The energy is gaining momentum. We know that for sure. The waxing moon, and adjustments are required. Third quarter moon. Adjustments. So there may be some adjustments needed. Let me also get... And right here I'm seeing shadow work. Yeah. So we can do our own little shadow work, you know, while this is all going on. What am I fearing the most? Why is this significant? What does it bring up for me? Earth and home. And stormy is what I saw here. Yes, it's very stormy. So what I'm getting from that is there is a lot of chaos going on right now. But how can I calm my nervous system and be able to kind of calm those fears, see faith through all of the uncertainty, you know? Even though, yeah, protection and lucky. So expand on protecting self, which I honestly see shadow work as protection of self, because how can I calm my reactions to things? How can I calm my mentality to, you know, see like through the fear, right? It's a spiritual war. So if I think about it, faith is what's going to block those fears, those doubts, those worries, those low vibrational, like anger, you know, those lower vibrational thoughts, right? To maybe help the collective raise their vibration so that we're able to kind of move out of this hopefully without, you know, major repercussions. Let's see, protection. Also psychic, gratitude, and veiled. So light a candle in gratitude for protection and expansion, maybe. And, you know, I would see this as like the expanding of that shadow aspect of self, where we're going to be able to see clearly, you know, after whatever happens, we'll be able to see, because hindsight is 2020, right? New moon. Hindsight is 2020. And typically what we can do is like light a candle, maybe say prayers of gratitude for this clarity and revelation that's coming. Do you know what I mean? So that we can kind of raise the vibration of the whole to a higher level, so that we're not collectively worried, reacting out of fear, and kind of moving from that fear root mindset. Like we got our head in our ass, basically, is what I mean. We're not thinking clearly. So when we don't think from like that faith perspective, we kind of do have our head in our ass, where we're thinking from this level of 3D, that where fear, we don't see a way out, basically. But with faith, it can be risen, transformed. Things don't have to be so doom and gloom. Also, having the courage to have faith. Fire, shift. Yeah, light a candle for courage, for protection, for gratitude, for clarity, yeah, and I hope that this helps. Thanks for watching.